You don't just visit Civita di Bagnoregio, you cross over into it, literally and emotionally. It begins long before you reach the town. The road winds out of Rome, northeast through Lazio, brushing past vineyards, hills, and sleepy villages. It's about 2 hours by car, just far enough to feel like a journey, but close enough to make it in a day. You'll park in the modern part of Bagnoregio, and that's where the spell starts to stir. Because from the parking lot, there's no immediate sign of the village you're here to see. Not yet. Then you walk up a short slope, and suddenly, it appears. A surreal sight. A tiny medieval town floating on a hilltop of volcanic rock, separated from the modern world by a great gorge carved by wind and time. Civita doesn't just sit on a hill, it perches there, like an ancient memory refusing to fall. And then comes the walk. There's only one way in, a long, narrow pedestrian bridge that stretches across the valley like a ribbon. It's steep, it takes effort, but each step is part of the transformation. With every footfall, you leave behind the ordinary world, and you enter something rare. A town with no cars, no noise, just stone, wind, bells, and beauty that makes you pause mid-breath. When you finally step through the archway, Porta Santa Maria, it feels like stepping into a painting or a dream. Civita di Bagnoregio is over 2,500 years old. The Etruscans founded it. The Romans expanded it. But nature has chipped away at its fragile foundation ever since. Earthquakes, erosion, landslides, all slowly turning this hilltop into an island in the sky. That's why it's often called La Città che muore, the dying town. But here's the twist. It's not dying. It's thriving. In recent years, Civita has come back to life, not as a tourist trap, but as a sanctuary, a place where art, silence, and stone coexist. The population? Only around 10 full-time residents. Yes, 10. But visitors come, thousands. Not in overwhelming crowds, at least not yet, but steadily. Drawn by the promise of slowness, simplicity, and a kind of beauty you can't replicate. Some celebrities have quietly slipped into town over the years, retreating to homes restored with respect. Fashion designers, artists, even global CEOs have found solace here. You won't find name plaques on the doors, that's not Civita's style, but ask the right local, and they'll smile knowingly. Inside the village, everything slows down. Stone paths curve past Renaissance-era palazzi with faded crests. Flower pots spill over windowsills. There's one main piazza, a church at the center, and on almost every corner, a view that will stop you in your tracks. Ravines, cliffs, open skies that stretch like a canvas. Hungry? You'll find a few trattorias, all local. One in particular, Alma Civita, sits tucked into an old Etruscan cave. You eat slowly, Pici pasta with truffles, local pecorino, a glass of Orvieto Classico from nearby vineyards. You sip, you listen to the wind. And for a moment, you don't miss anything from the modern world. You might meet locals, some born here, some who left and returned. A few speak of the town's resurrection with quiet pride, of how Civita became not just a relic, but a symbol of resilience. There's not a long list of things to do here. That's not the point. You walk, you sit, you look, you feel. You might visit the Casa di San Bonaventura or explore Etruscan tombs beneath the village. But most of the magic isn't in what you check off. It's in what you absorb. Because something happens in Civita. The silence gets in. The old stones tell you things. You remember how little you need, how much you miss beauty like this in your daily life. So why will you fall in love with Civita di Bagnoregio? Because it reminds you of things you forgot you cared about. Because it's fragile, and that makes it more beautiful. Because it's not convenient, and not fast, and not loud, and because some places don't need to shout to stay with you. If you're planning your trip through Italy, carve out a day for Civita. Drive the 2 hours, park the car, walk the bridge, let it take your breath, and give you something back you didn't know you'd lost. This is what slow travel feels like. This is why you came to Italy. Thank you for watching. If you're a fan of Italy, you'll find all our videos on Italy. There's a lot. So the best way to access them easily is to simply subscribe to our channel. Subscribing is free and will help us with Google so we can get our information out to more people. Many thanks in advance, and I'll see you in our next video.